What's up everyone? Welcome to my channel. Let's talk about some videos that failed. Somewhat recently, I saw booktuber Kayla on her channel Books and Lala do a video where she talked about all of her videos that failed. What I mean by that is that I tried filming them and I had a plan for them and I just wasn't able to execute it for whatever reason that was. For example, I have a video I started probably back in May. And it's now December, so I just need to kind of wrap it up or get rid of it, but I have all of this footage, so I thought I would try this concept and talk about some of the videos that I started filming and editing and just didn't quite get there for whatever reason. By the way, if you're new here, what's up? Welcome to my channel. My name's Elise. If you're not new here, welcome back. We love having you here. Let's just get into the first video that failed. I'm actually really sad that this failed because I had such a fun time filming the intro of this video, and that is reading books based on their covers. I even filmed like this whole intro where I go book shopping and I choose the books and I explain them, so I'll go ahead and put that right here. Hey, what's up everyone? How are you today? Am I feeling a little guilty? Yeah, I can't lie. Did I buy more books than I said I was going to? Anyway, I went into Barnes & Noble today because I had pre-ordered Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. That is not the point of the video. The point of the video is that I went into Barnes & Noble and I got sucked in because I saw some really cool books. Today's video is going to be reading and buying books based solely on the cover. I saw booktube queen Ali Goodwin, I believe is her last name, just Ali, I'll link her down below. She did a video like this where she went and bought books solely on their covers only, didn't know anything else about them. So that is exactly what I did. I went into Barnes & Noble and I couldn't look at the synopsis. I couldn't look at any of the quotes. I couldn't look at anything beyond how cool and interesting and eye-catching the covers were. Hey everyone, what's up? It's the next day. Yesterday I bought the books and like did a little intro, but holy heck, it was so hot in my car. I could not be there any longer. Let's talk about the books that I bought for this challenge. The first book that I bought is The Mountain in the Sea by Ray Naylor. This book follows a company called Danima who has found a species of octopus that have developed their own language and culture. And then comes in marine biologist Da Ha Win, who has spent her life researching intelligent cephalopods. There are forces larger than Danima trying to seize the octopi for themselves. But no one has yet asked the octopi what they think. Ooh, what are these octopus gonna do? I think the reason that I partially reached for this is because I literally just got done reading Remarkably Bright Creatures, which features a very intelligent giant Pacific octopus. Also, just the colors in this cover are so striking to me. They just complement each other really well. I'm really excited to read this and see if it lives up to what I think it's gonna be. The only thing that I'm really intimidated about this book is 451 pages. That's okay. I still think it's gonna be great. I'm really excited. My guess is that this is gonna be a 4-star read for me. Next we have The Sacrifice by Rin Chupeco. Now, I could tell from the cover of this book that this was a thriller, but just look at it. It's so captivating. Just like this creepiness, the foliage, and then this like slice right here. It just really grabs the eye. It sounds like we're on an island. It has a curse, but a Hollywood film crew won't be dissuaded. Legends claim that there is a god that will give unimaginable powers in exchange for 8 sacrifices. The producers are determined to document this, and they convince a local teen to be their guide. Elon, the teen that they got to guide them, is trying to convince them to leave, and it says if Elon can't convince them to leave, there is no telling who will survive or how much the dreamer god will destroy. I think this is probably going to be a 3-star or like a 3.5 star, but thrillers just aren't necessarily my thing, and that like literally has nothing to do with the author. It's me. I know that I'm going into a territory that I'm not usually comfortable with, but that's okay. I still really want to give it a try for this challenge. The last book that caught my eye is Human Acts by Han Kang. This apparently is the same author who wrote The Vegetarian. I have not read The Vegetarian, but I do have it on my TBR. I've heard great things about it. But look at this. I love books and covers that can tell you a story within the art itself. One thing that I'm really excited about this book is that it is in fact set in South Korea. And I used to live in South Korea for 3 years. I had no idea when I first pulled this book, so that was a really happy surprise for me. I also really like that it's short. It is only 212 pages, so we're here for it. It says, in the midst of a violent student uprising in South Korea, I'm wondering if this is based on a true story, because I do remember a few historical uprisings in Korean history. In the midst of a violent student uprising in South Korea, a young boy named Dong-ho is shockingly killed. The story of this tragic episode unfolds in a sequence of interconnected chapters as the victims and the bereaved encounter suppression, denial, and the echoing agony of the massacre. So we follow an editor struggling against censorship, a prisoner working in a factory, people who have traumatic memories, and Dong-ho's own grief-stricken mother. I think that it is based on a true story. The Gwangju Democratic Uprising. Yeah, so it is based on a true story, because I remember when I went to Gwangju, I didn't have time to go to the museums and stuff like that, but there are several like monuments scattered throughout the city, and there are murals and things like that with the information and like details about it. So yeah, it is based on a true story. It's based on the Gwangju Uprising, where a series of students from Cheongan University were demonstrating against martial law. That's so... like, what happened isn't cool, but it's so cool that this is a book that I literally just happened to pick up randomly. I'm thinking this book is going to be a bit of a tough read, so it's probably going to fall into the 4 or like 4.5 star rating. Out of those 3 books that I chose for that challenge, I did end up reading one, and that is The Sacrifice by Rin Chupeco. I'll go ahead and put my reading vlog and thoughts about that here. friends, I wanted to do a reading update. This book, I am currently about halfway through, about 150 pages in, and I'm actually really enjoying it. I was the most nervous about this book because it is horror, although it is YA horror, so I think that's largely the reason I'm having such a good time with it, is because it's like baby horror. It's not like grotesque adult horror. I think that a part of the reason why I am enjoying it so much is because to me it's like a dark fantasy horror. We just got to a crazy part in the book. Some crazy shit started to happen with the island. I'm really enjoying this book. I'm really glad I picked it up. I am hoping to finish the rest of the book tonight or tomorrow. So I'll give you a final update when I finish it. This close to finishing this book, so I'm gonna finish it right now. I called it. I just finished The Sacrifice. I'm so glad that I picked this up. Hey friends, it's a little bit later and I wanted to hop on here and talk to you guys about this book. I am so glad that this challenge brought me to read this book, because otherwise I probably wouldn't have picked this book up at all. I would have been too scared and too nervous. What I really enjoyed was the beginning started off kind of slower, a little bit suspenseful, and the way I can think to explain it is it was like a snowball. It started off a little bit slow and then slowly we got more information. Slowly the pace of the story sped up until it was going full speed. It was a giant snowball avalanche going down this hill. So much more riveting and fast paced as the story continued. I liked the representation. I liked just kind of how you got to see the rights and the wrongs of these people. The ending was crazy. Some of the things that I guessed ended up being correct, so I was very excited that I was correct, but at the same time there were still enough things that I didn't guess that still made it interesting. Super glad that I read this. On to the next. Unfortunately, I haven't read either of the other books. I am very excited to read them. I was actually really excited whenever I read the back of the books and the synopsis, because they both sounded a little out of my comfort zone, but like books I'd be very interested in reading. So I am still hoping to get to them, but this video is just taking too long to complete and I needed to move on. The next video that failed was reading the longest and the shortest book on my physical TBR. I'll go ahead and let past Elise talk to you about that. Hey everyone, what's up? What's new? What's going on? How are you? I did not mean to rhyme. Anyway, recently I did the Goodreads highest and lowest rated books on my TBR. It was a challenge for sure, because they were definitely books that I wasn't naturally gravitating towards, but it was also really good for me because I have such a big physical TBR. So I want to challenge myself again today to read some books on my physical TBR. In this challenge, I am going to try and read the longest book on my TBR and the shortest book on my TBR. So let's go to good old Goodreads to see what those are. Now, if you are not my friend on Goodreads and you want to be, please feel free to follow me or friend me. I cannot promise to do a bunch of stuff, but I will sneakily like your updates. Sometimes at night when I can't sleep, I just go to my Goodreads and look at what everyone's reading and all of their reviews. Here she is up here. I did update one of my shelves on Goodreads, and that is now named Unread Physical TBR. This shelf has every physical book that I own now. We're gonna go to sorted by, and we are going to go to number of pages. So Unfortunately, the Texas Rose series, the last 3 books are my shortest books. But I have not read the second book. We are going to skip those, even though they're pretty short. I do look forward to reading the rest of that series eventually, but I think for the sake of things, I need to read the next shortest book, and that is We Were Liars. Okay, so I've heard a lot about We Were Liars. It follows this group of kids who, some of them are related and some of them aren't, but they go to this island every summer. Apparently some crazy stuff happens. I hear it's really fast-paced, it is short, and mysterious. So that is my shortest book. Now let's look for my longest book. I knew it. Ah! A Little Life. I do want to read this book, but you have to admit that 720 pages is very intimidating. But I think that it will be very rewarding to finally finish it. It just might take me a while. I want to give it a try and I want to challenge myself, so let me go grab those books. We have We Were Liars coming in at 227 pages, and then we have A Little Life coming in at 720 pages. I'm trying to decide which one I want to read first. So I did end up reading the shortest book on my physical TBR at the time, and that was We Were Liars. So here are my thoughts on We Were Liars. Hey friends, just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update. I am currently 90 pages into We Were Liars, and I'm a little confused. First off, it has taken me at least 4 tries, if not 5, to get started in this book. I'm really struggling with that. And second off, I feel like nothing's happened. I'm 90 pages in and all we know is that Cadence has started experiencing migraines and memory loss, amnesia, specifically surrounding this one summer. And that's like it. Everyone's so cagey, like all the time. No one actually says anything of substance. It's like sidestepping everything, and like maybe that comes into play later, but I'm just like, I'm so confused. The summer vibes are immaculate. Just wanted to update you guys. Hey friends, it's later. We are 170 pages in and things are finally happening. Our main character, this is so bad, but I already forgot her name and I'm reading the book. Anyway, our main character is finally regaining some of her memories. Some people are finally answering questions about her memories and things are finally like piecing themselves together. So it's like finally getting a little bit faster paced, but I'm just like ready to be done. I don't think this book is for me, but I'm gonna push through and finish. More thoughts later. Hey everyone, I finally finished We Were Liars and I have some thoughts. This book initially took me probably 4 tries to read. If it weren't for this challenge in this video, I probably would have DNF'd this. This story just wasn't for me. The writing style was really interesting, especially coming from a character that we find out pretty early on has amnesia. You felt that with her kind of storytelling because it is first person. I really liked the style of it. To me though, this story was just too slow and not enough happened until about 70 or 80%, and then it was just like boom, boom, boom. I like a story that's a little more medium paced or a little more fast paced, and so this book just didn't quite hit for me like I think it hit for others. I can totally see why some people love this book. I will add though, there are 2 plot twists in this story. The second plot twist, the first plot twist was good, but the second plot twist, I did not see that coming. I really enjoyed that twist and it left me feeling satisfied with how the story ended. Currently, I am still trying to read A Little Life. I am about 33% of the way through, which is like 200 something pages. It's difficult. It's very long and intimidating. I did get the audiobook to help me listen to it and that was helping a lot, but I'm just not drawn to it right now. And I think I do want to finish and complete the book, but I think I'm just gonna wait until it calls to me a little bit more. There was a time when I was really enjoying it and then some circumstances happened and just put me off a little bit. I've had some experiences with friendship where there was a lot more giving on one end than receiving, and I get that people go through phases of their life. I totally understand, but that was a little too close to home for me where Jude is just not very trusting of his friends. And so that just hit a little hard. Maybe that will rub me less wrong another time and I'll be able to pick that book up again. The next video that failed was me trying to read a bunch of books that are in series that I'm in the middle of, kind of completing all the book series I'm in the middle of, a series of series. And so I read 3 books in this video, and for some reason I was just really set on reading 5 books in this video, and it just got drawn out. I wanted to finish a series with each book that I read. A lot of the book series I'm in the middle of, I still have 2 to 5 books to complete the series. But for some reason, I just really wanted to complete the series in this video. I did get to complete 3 books, so here are those 3 books. Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome to, or welcome back to my channel. We are completing some series. If you watched my previous video about all of the series that I'm currently in the middle of, I'm going to try and focus on those series that are completed. Of those, I have already started one, and that is the Dreamland Billionaire series. The Dreamland Billionaire series is a 3-book series. Final Offer is the last book in the series following Callahan. He is the middle brother. Essentially, this series starts with us finding out that the grandfather of these boys has passed away. And this grandfather ended up being like an amusement park tycoon. He's a billionaire. He passes away and he leaves an inheritance for his grandsons. However, all 3 grandsons must complete certain tasks in the will in order to gain their inheritance. And so now we're following Cal. Lauren Asher's writing is so fast and easy to read. It's very breezy. I feel like I've only been reading a little bit and I've already read 67 pages. She's thick, y'all. Over 580 pages, but I mean, I breezed through it so far. So I think this is gonna be a quick read. I'm excited to finish this book. Update on Final Offer. I am currently on literally page 200. This is another book from the series that is not in Dreamland, and my favorite part about the first book was the fact that it had to do with Dreamland and a very Disney-esque theme park, because I used to work at Disney, and so that was one of my favorite things about the first novel. And in the second novel, it didn't have as much to do with Dreamland, and this one so far is looking like Dreamland is likely not going to be involved. Some of the decisions that the main characters make and have been making are a little frustrating to me. And like Cal's gag order not to be able to talk about the house and what's in the will with his grandfather is very frustrating, because then Alana just doesn't understand what's going on and just jumps to conclusions and assumes like, oh, he just wants to get rid of the house and like he doesn't care about me and this is my home and blah, 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 which is not the case, but he has to do these things in order to get his inheritance, but he's not allowed to tell her. Also, Alana is kind of mean to Cal. She was supposedly his best friend, his ex. Like, I get it, there's bitterness between exes, but like, she said some really crappy things to Cal, and Cal just kind of like takes it. That's just not going to help someone struggling with addiction who probably already has like low self-esteem, you know, and then you go and say all these things to them. Yeah, be tough on them, of course, but you don't have to be mean. I think the tides are turning though. She's kind of realizing that some of the things she said aren't helpful. I think things are getting better. So I really hope that that's the case. That's just my take on it, but I think things are getting better. She seems to be kind of like thawing out a little bit towards him and realizing there are still really good sides to Cal. And there are. So hopefully she can help bring those sides of him out and help him to become the best version of himself, which are my favorite kind of books, because like, we don't need all of that reliance and stuff, but you know, that's what a healthy couple should do, is they should bring out the best in each other or help each other to do so. I will update you guys later. Hey everyone, I finished Final Offer. This book has 2 epilogues. It has an extended epilogue from Cal's perspective. I actually really liked the epilogues. Both of them are great. However, with both of the epilogues, it ended up making this book 591 pages. So I'm very proud of myself for finishing it and for getting this one done. This book did end up being a 4-star read. However, the ending was really good. Let me go back. The last time I checked in with you guys, I was talking about how mean Alana is at times, and I stand by that. If I were finding someone to date, I would not date Alana. I understand that Cal had not always given Alana a reason to trust him, and I also understand that she has to be even extra careful than normal because of someone in her family. I don't want to spoil it. Anyway, there are reasons that she needs to be super extra careful, and I completely understand that. However, there were just so many times when I thought she was unnecessarily mean or rude to Cal, and there were times where she just didn't give him the time of day or even allow him to explain himself or explain the situation and the circumstances that led him to doing what he did. She just immediately wrote him off, and that really bothered me. Sometimes people need you to be stern. Hey, what you did is not okay. I'm not okay with it. Go get help. But there were just so many times where she cut Cal down or said rude or mean things, and then immediately it was like, oh man, I feel so guilty. I shouldn't have said that or whatever. But then she just kept doing it. I did not love Alana, but I could see how she brought out better parts of Cal, and so my feeling about her is now neutralized. I have mixed feelings about her. However, I did love the in-depth dive into the mind of an alcoholic. It was really interesting to see just his thoughts and thought processes that led him to do certain things and that led him on the path that he ended up on towards the end of the book. It was really eye-opening at times, and I loved being able to see his process and his character growth. So for that, it brought things up for me. Also, there was a scene in Dreamland. There were a few scenes in Dreamland, which is like my favorite part about the series. Both of the epilogues I thought were really beautiful and really helped me to find like closure towards the end of the book and make me feel better about my review. Also, his family knew that he was a suffering alcoholic, and yet they continued to consume alcohol in front of Cal. And I just thought, if you are a family member and you love and support your family member or your friend, wouldn't you want to try and take that trigger away from them? Wouldn't you want to try and take that temptation away from them and sacrifice not drinking alcohol for one night? So that also really bothered me. So there were some great things about this book. I'm really glad I read this series. I probably will reread the series again. But there were just some things that really bothered me about this book that kept me from giving it a 5-star. I really enjoyed it. I feel very proud of myself for having finished this series because these are chunky boys. I finally finished the Dreamland Billionaire series. Yay! I'm in line to pick up the boys from school. If you don't know or you're new here, hey, what's up? Welcome. I am a part-time nanny. I have another part-time job as a librarian, and I do a bunch of other things on the side, but I'm in line, and today is the day that we start the final book in the Briar series called The Dare by Elle Kennedy. I'm excited to finally give this a listen and to finally check that series off. It is a very gloomy, rainy day here today, which I'm not mad about. We need the rain so badly, but I just had no motivation to do anything. So starting this book makes me feel accomplished. The delusions that we tell ourselves as readers. Okay. The boys are getting out. I'll talk to you guys later. I just dropped the boys off and I am officially an hour into the audiobook, and y'all, it's so cute. I love super cocky boys that have a sweet soft spot, like golden retriever energy, and Connor is the main character, the main male character, and he has golden retriever energy for sure. And then we follow our main female character. Shoot, I already forgot her name. They don't say it very often because it's like first person. The premise of this book is that it starts off at her sorority sister house, and there's one girl who just really doesn't like her for a reason that I won't spoil for you, and is kind of just basically a bully now, and so dares her to get Connor to sleep with her at this sorority party because she thinks that Connor is going to turn her down in front of everyone. Connor doesn't. He goes upstairs and she explains that, you know, she just pretend. Would he be willing to do that? They end up pretending, and then they end up falling asleep just talking upstairs, and it's so cute. But there was a scene that just had me giggling like crazy. It was so cute. Anyway, I'm gonna listen some more on my drive home, and I will talk to you guys later. Hey friends, it has been a few days, and I just realized that the only time I have ever made an update about this book is in my car, and that's probably because I listen to it mostly while I drive. But we have an hour and a half left. Connor and some of his mistakes are fine. They come with growth, but let's just say how he handles some of his mistakes bothers me. But that's okay. It looks like we're leaning towards growth. But there's still an hour and a half left, and things are kind of calming down and chilling out. So I'm what is gonna happen? So I'm not ready for that, but that's okay. I think I'm gonna end up finishing it today on my drive home. So fingers crossed. I love how humorous it is. It just reminds me of the boys in college, hanging out with them, just some of their dumb responses that you can't help chuckle at, and just some of the struggles that you went through in college that seem so simple now.
Another video that failed was just a regular reading vlog. I don't know why I didn't finish this. I think I get it in my head that I have to complete a certain number of books in a reading vlog to feel satisfied with it. For some reason, 3 is not enough to me. And yeah, I'll watch someone else's video and they read 1 book in the vlog and I'm like, yes, I loved this. But for myself, I'm like, no, I need 4 or 5 books at least. Doesn't make any sense. That's okay. In this vlog, I listened to Skin of the Sea. I finished a book called Molotov Obsession, or Angel's Cage. It's part of the Molotov Obsession duet. And I also read The Love Wager by Lynn Painter. But then there are also some times where I just want to read a book and not have to film. I enjoy filming, but sometimes there's that little bit of pressure. Anyway, I digress. I'll show you the footage from those books.
Hey friends, I'm on my way home from work, which is about an hour and 15-minute drive. And I think I'm going to listen to The Skin of the Sea. I'm a little over halfway done. It says I have about 5 or so hours left to listen to it, to finish it. And so I think I'm going to listen to that.
unabridged production of Skin of the Sea by Natasha Bowen.
I just finished Skin of the Sea. It's a few days after I talked to you guys last about it. I did really like the ending. However, the rest of the story did not hit for me. I loved the idea of like a Little Mermaid retelling, but in Africa and with all of the African lore and myths. That was so fascinating. Like the Mamiwata, which are like the sea spirits and mermaids, and the Olodumare and things like that. That was really fascinating and I loved that. Natasha Bowen has a very lush style of writing and is very descriptive in her writing. And I think because of the amount of description that she did, I mean, it was beautiful, but it slowed things down a lot. And so I think the pacing was kind of off for me. Like it was really slow and not much happened, and then boom, all of a sudden something happened and it was just like, whoa. In that moment, it was really cool and really action-packed, and then it slowed down a lot. So I think maybe the pacing and some of the description was a little repetitive, and for me, that took me out of the moment. I listened to this on audiobook, and the narrator, oh my gosh, her voice is incredible. I think I might give the second book a chance as well, even though this wasn't my favorite, because it is only a duology and I just freaking love duologies. They're so much easier to invest in than, you know, like a 5-book series. So I am gonna think about reading the duology or the second book. It is a few days later and I'm currently taking a lunch break in between studying. Just having some leftover chicken and potato wedges. But I like to read while I eat. So currently I am finishing the Molotov Obsession duet. I am currently 93% finished with it. But it's kind of hard to tell exactly what percentage I am because it has both books in one. The last book ended on a cliffhanger, which I wasn't mad about because I was immediately able to get the next book. I did have a little bit of a gap in between the two, but I had no problem like stepping right back in and continuing the rest of the book. I do say I kind of like it in this format where it's like both books in one because you can just immediately go to the next book. So if you are interested in reading this duology, I suggest getting Molotov's Obsessions because it's both books in one. We're just continuing from that cliffhanger. I don't want to tell you what that cliffhanger is because it will like totally ruin a lot of the first book and the second book for you. Let's just say that Chloe has learned a little bit more about Nikolai's background and what kind of man she kind of felt like he was. She finds out more about him, and so the second book is kind of her learning more, kind of figuring out what she wants to do with this information, the continuing of their relationship and its rocky path. There's a lot that I cannot say about this book or else it will spoil everything, but I'm really enjoying Anna Zaraz's writing style. She really has this unique ability to take not very much and make it seem like a lot is happening and very fast paced. I will say there is a lot of internal dialogue, which I don't mind. I enjoy internal dialogue, but I know some people don't, so if that bothers you, don't read this book, not for you. It's become very steamy, little bit of like a mafia kind of dark romance thing going on. We get to see a lot more of Nikolai's background and his kind of internal motivations, which I've really appreciated. But I have to admit, I'm kind of just ready for it to be over at this point. I've been kind of skimming a lot. Let's just say like half of this book happened in like 2 days and not a lot of action. But the action is picking up, so I'm just kind of skimming now. And I hope to finish this by the end of the day. I just got up, but I wanted to tell you that I finished the Love Wager, but I'm literally a hot mess. Like I literally just got up from bed, so I'm gonna go
get presentable, and then I'll talk to you about this book. We're back. I am marginally more presentable. Some coffee has been acquired and my nails are freshly painted. So if you see me like flourishing, they're serving the double purpose of me physically expressing myself as well as drying them. I finished this book because I was actually supposed to work all day, and I got a message very early this morning when my alarm went off that I did not need to come to work today, but I could not go back to sleep, so I decided to pick up this book, which was right by my bed, and I ended up finishing it. So let's talk about it. I was about halfway through this book, almost exactly halfway through, on page 155 when I picked it up this morning. This book, The Love Wager by Lynn Painter, is the second book in her Mr. Wrong Numbers series. So it follows Jack and Hallie. Jack is Olive's or Olivia's brother from the first book, Mr. Wrong Number. So we get to see him having his own romance and finding his happily ever after too. It follows both of their point of views, and basically Hallie and Jack have kind of not been doing great on the dating scene. Their friends and family are pushing them to get back into dating, so they join an app, but before they do, they have this like really like spicy instant chemistry meet cute, but when they find each other on the app later, they kind of just like jokingly, you know, decide to be friends and like cheer each other on. And then this love wager develops where whoever finds their true love first wins. So they both start going on dates, and all of the dates suck, so they end up like commiserating with each other afterwards at these taco dates, and a friendship just grows. So I would say that the first half of this book was just okay for me. It was a very solid 3-star. I was enjoying it. It was great for me to just read a little bit before I went to bed. But this second half really took off whenever the fake dating started, because she was going well with this one guy, and then things fizzled out right before her sister's wedding. And so he was gonna go to the wedding with her, and things ended. So Jack's like, I'll do it. I'll be your fake boyfriend. And then that's where things just like took off for me. That's where this book like skyrocketed. It was so cute. There was the one bed trope, which they kind of like made fun of in the book, which was kind of fun. And I don't know, I really enjoyed it.
The next video that failed was a blind reaction to an article for Goodreads. It talked about the most popular romances of the year of 2023 so far. I hadn't read the article, I hadn't seen what books were on the list, so I went through kind of like my previous video talking about the 76 most popular books of the decade, according to Goodreads. And so I went through them, just, you know, seeing them for the first time and reacting to the books I'd read or hadn't read. For that past video, the top 76 books, I had read or interacted with a lot of those books, but for this video, I had interacted with way less books than I had anticipated. So I'll show you a few clips from that. Today I want to go over this article that was put out quite a while ago, so maybe this isn't relevant anymore, but we're gonna do it anyway. That's okay, we're gonna do it anyway. Today I want to go over the most popular romances of the year so far. This article was put out a few months ago, but I still feel like it's pretty relevant because I feel like in the fall, most of the new releases were fantasy related. And this is the most popular romances of the year, according to Goodreads. We're taking a look at all of the great books published since January. We've gathered here the most popular romances of Goodreads from the first half of 2023. These are the titles generating the most interest from readers as determined by reviews, ratings, and which individual books are winding up on members' want to read or read shelf. Starting with Happy Place by Emily Henry. I haven't read this yet. Next we have Things We Hide from the Light by Lucy Score, but I have not started the Knock 'Em Out series. Then we have Final Offer by Lauren Asher. I did read this year. It's over here on a stack. Romantic comedy. I feel like the marketing and then the release of this was really short, so it wasn't even on my radar, and then suddenly it was on everyone's radar, and then I heard such mixed reviews that I honestly don't know if I want to read it. Next we have Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. I need to read more of her books. Then we have Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune. This is one of my most highly anticipated releases of this year, and it was definitely not my favorite. Then we have Christina Lawrence, The True Love Experiment. I actually went to a release event for this book. I got it signed. I met the authors. I met Allie Hazelwood there. She hosted the event. It was so fun, and I have not read this book. Then we have Georgie All Along. This is kind of a toss-up for me. I kind of want to read it. I kind of don't. A Long Time Coming by Megan Quinn. Isn't this like the second or third book in a series? Jasper Vale, I've heard, is marketed as a romance, but there's not as much romance in it. It's very mystery driven, so it's a toss-up for me. Then we have The Nanny by Lana Ferguson. This is on my TBR. I love nanny romances. The Temporary Wife I honestly have not heard about. Not on my radar. Then we have The Plus One. Also not on my radar, but a very cute cover. Next we have Once More with Feeling. I'm going to take this off of my TBR because I have not even started Funny You Should Ask, and I've heard very mixed reviews on Once More with Feeling. So I'm just going to take that off for now. In the end, I had only read 5 of those books out of 52, I believe, and 15 were on my TBR. The rest of them I hadn't heard of before, I wasn't interested in. That was a very big flop. The last video that failed was reacting to 1-star reviews. So I thought that these books were excellent. I personally gave them a 5-star review, and then I went through and I found some 1-star reviews and reacted to them. I admit this is my first time doing something like this, so I wasn't as prepared as I could have been. So this video just took way longer. It was just way longer than necessary. And also, I don't find myself that humorous. Like, some people are just so quick-witted and hilarious and hysterical. It's just like natural to them. They're so good at making other people laugh. And I feel like for me, that happens very rarely. And then I also feel like it only happens with very few people. Like, for some reason, there are a few people in my life that bring out that funny side in me. And like, when I'm with them, I can be a little bit funny sometimes. But for the most part, I'm not that funny. I'm not quick-witted enough to come up with these jokes. And so it just didn't come out the way that I wanted to. But there were a few funny ones in here, so I'll go ahead and add those in here. I feel like starting with The Bodyguard by Catherine Center. I'm actually a little nervous. Okay, let's go to 1-star. There's not that many 1-stars. Matilda says, I'm feeling like the biggest hater right now because there's truly was nothing I enjoyed about this book. Actually, I knew I would hate this book when I read the very first line. Girl, then why did you read it? This person wrote, it started out pretty well, like a decent, predictable, and cute Hallmark romance. Okay, I kind of agree with that, but I was here for it. But sadly develops into a bad Lifetime movie, and then further into a Dr. Phil episode, and finally into a self-help therapy session that desperately tries to swing back to a Hallmark-worthy production. I don't know about the Dr. Phil aspect, but it definitely does have like a self-help, like internal kind of situation where she realizes things are not going great and she like internalizes a lot. So I kind of agree with that, but I enjoyed that. I like this review. It's short and sweet, and it literally just says, I'm not usually a hater, but today I am. I don't even care about the rest of this review, but I love the first line. It says, I'm trying not to be a grumpy McGrumpants, but this was just bad. I have to disagree. It's just so interesting and insane to me, the fact that I absolutely loved and adored this book, and these people are like only complaining about it. Let's go to Maggie Moves On. There are 361 1-star ratings and reviews. Let's see what they have. We have, damn it, I was hoping to love this one, but that guy rubbed me the wrong way. Which guy? There are a lot of them. He wasn't funny. Abedit was an idiot. Loved the dog though. The dog was pretty great. I don't even care about the rest of this review. I just like the first line. I want my 13 hours back. Okay, this is my favorite review yet. Kevin the dog slayed. Cowboy hat emoji. I agree. Kevin was great. Okay, let's move on next to Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mandel. I just want to share this review because I feel like they tried to use as many SAT words as possible. Painfully thin characters, weak prose, and a self-impressed autobiographical main narrator juxtaposed with a lazily borrowed plot point from The Matrix. Okay, let's do a fantasy one. Let's do Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. Okay, this one's kind of funny. It says, some of y'all about to be really mad at me, but this is if SJM, Sarah J. Maas, and Allie Hazelwood had a baby. Oh my gosh. She said, okay, I read it twice. And she gave it a 1-star review and she read it twice? Girl, why would you do that? Oh my gosh. OMG, I must be sick in the head because why am I horny for a dragon? I'm going to have to write an essay on this, aren't I? Okay. This one kind of checks out. You literally have a man carving you wooden tokens of your dragons, but sure, go for the murderous, rude, brooding, condescending one. Okay, I think that's it for all of the videos that failed this year. I'm sorry that they did fail because obviously I came up with them and started trying to make them because I thought that they would do well or you might be interested in them. But it just didn't turn out like I wanted it to. But you know, that's okay. I really liked the idea of this video, kind of sharing some parts of those videos with you so that maybe you did enjoy those few parts. Despite these videos failing, I feel like it has been a really good year for videos. I've grown so much as a booktuber and just coming up with fun ideas and things that I enjoy that hopefully you enjoy as well. So thank you so much for being part of this bookish fam. If you made it this far, please consider subscribing and joining us. We would love to have you, and I will see you in my next video. I hope you're doing well whenever and wherever you're watching. Bye everyone.